"Don't send that message," I whispered, staring at the glowing phone beside my sleeping roommate. But my finger had already touched the screen, and the words I read there had changed everything I thought I knew about her. Maya and I had shared the tiny apartment for almost a year. We were different in almost every way. I planned everything. She lived from one day to the next. I kept my feelings locked behind polite smiles. Maya could turn a bad morning into laughter with one ridiculous joke. Yet beneath her easy confidence, I had always sensed something she never talked about. That night, rain tapped against the windows while we studied at the kitchen table. Maya complained about an exam, laughed at herself, and finally carried her blanket to the couch. "Wake me if you become a genius," she joked. I smiled. "I'll try." An hour later, I found her asleep beside me on the couch, her head resting against the cushion, one hand loosely holding her phone. I reached over to place it safely on the table. The screen lit up. There was an unsent message. "I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you the truth, but I'm scared you'll hate me when you find out why I moved in." My hand froze. I should have looked away. Instead, another line appeared beneath it. "You deserve to know what happened to your father." My heart dropped. My father had died 8 years earlier. At least, that was what I had always been told. A car accident. No questions. No mystery. No reason to doubt the story. I stared at Maya's sleeping face. Then the phone went dark. I spent the rest of the night sitting across from her, unable to breathe normally. Every explanation I invented sounded impossible. Maybe she knew someone with the same name. Maybe the message belonged to someone else. Maybe I had misunderstood. At sunrise, Maya woke and immediately noticed my face. What happened? I held up her phone. She went completely still. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then she whispered, "You saw it." I saw enough. She closed her eyes. "I was going to tell you." When? When I knew how. Who was my father really? Maya sat down slowly. "Your father didn't die in that accident." The room seemed to shrink. She told me her mother had worked for a small insurance company years ago. After the accident, she discovered documents showing that my father had survived. He had been injured, lost part of his memory, and disappeared under another name after someone pressured witnesses to stay silent. "Why would anyone do that?" I asked. Maya's voice trembled. "Because your father had discovered financial fraud involving people powerful enough to make problems disappear. And you knew all this." "I knew pieces." "Why did you move in with me?" She looked at the floor. "Because my mother died last year. Before she died, she gave me a box of documents and one instruction: find you. Protect you until you know the truth." I felt betrayed, frightened, and strangely grateful all at once. "Where is the box?" "At my aunt's house." We drove there that afternoon. The box contained old photographs, insurance records, handwritten notes, and a hospital bracelet bearing my father's name. Then we found an address. Maya recognized it immediately. "That's where he lives." My hands began shaking. The address belonged to a quiet repair shop across town. We arrived near sunset. An older man stood behind the counter, repairing a radio. He looked up. For a moment, he simply stared at me. Then the radio slipped from his hands. "Daniel." I could not answer. He stepped closer, his eyes filling with tears. "It's you." I whispered, "Dad." He covered his mouth. Maya quietly stepped outside, giving us the privacy neither of us knew how to ask for. My father explained that after the accident, he had been threatened. He believed staying away was the only way to keep me safe. But years of fear became years of silence, and eventually shame kept him from returning. "I thought you were dead," I said. "I thought you hated me. I never got the chance." He cried then, not dramatically, but like a man who had been carrying one unbearable sentence for 8 years. I hugged him. Behind the glass door, Maya wiped her eyes. Later, I asked her why she had never sent the message. She smiled sadly. "Because I was afraid the truth would destroy your life." "It changed my life," I said. She looked down. but it didn't destroy it. For the first time, Maya smiled without hiding anything. Weeks later, my father began visiting us. Slowly, awkwardly, we rebuilt what had been lost. There were difficult conversations and painful memories, but there were also dinners, jokes, and ordinary mornings that felt more precious than anything. One evening, I found Maya asleep on the couch again. Her phone rested beside her. I picked it up, smiled, and placed it gently on the table. This time, I knew there were no secrets waiting on the screen. I covered her with a blanket and whispered, "Thank you for being brave enough to tell me." She opened one eye. "You're welcome." Then she smiled. For the first time in years, our apartment felt less temporary and more like a home we had chosen. Sometimes the message that changes your life is not the one someone sends. It is the truth they are finally brave enough to share. If this story touched your heart, tell us what you would have done in Maya's place. Would you have revealed the truth immediately, or waited until the right moment? Share your thoughts or your own experience in the comments. And if this story reminded you that kindness, courage, compassion, and honesty can change a life, please like this video and subscribe for more inspiring stories about hope, humanity, and the unexpected moments that bring people back together.